Welcome to Old Guy Gaming Network, and tonight I actually have loaded up NASCAR Sim Racing 3 with NASCAR Ignition 21 set to come out. I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and I am truly disgusted that they're, number one, charging $60 for that. They're charging you basically $60 to participate in an alpha, but the state of that game is just pathetic, and it irritates me that NASCAR Sim Racing is 19 years old, and in 19 years we haven't got a game that even remotely approaches it as far as how good it is. This game was so realistic that this sim was so realistic that Dale Earnhardt Jr. and a bunch of other NASCAR guys back in the day used it as a simulator. And it was funny. I was watching a video where Dale was working with, I can't remember the name of the other driver, but he had mentioned a tactic they had used in the game by name, and then the guy knew exactly what he wanted to do, and then that guy wound up winning. Dale Earnhardt came in second. And, they put what they learned in game to the actual track, and it worked. And so, I don't care about all the eye candy in the world. If you don't have a relatively realistic experience on the track, what's the point? Now, I'll be honest, I probably haven't played this game since 2004. I dug out my old Logitech Momo force feedback steering wheel, which, God, I had to dust it off. I probably haven't used it since 2004. So I'm just going to do a quick 20-lap race at Daytona. Opponent strength is set at 87. I want to give myself a chance to compete. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump right to race, and I will start from the back of the pack. It's crazy. So I'm working on a 49-inch ultra wide monitor at 5120 by 1440. This game's freaking 19 years old. Those resolutions didn't even exist back then. And the game supports it absolutely flawlessly. I maxed out the game. I've drawn all 42 cars in front of me, all 42 behind me. Max draw distance. I found some cool YouTube channels that still talk about this game, or at least they did a few years ago, and went in and made some changes into my settings. But the cars look fantastic. Let's see how my first race in nearly 20 years goes. It's funny, in my Steam library, I've got NASCAR the game 2003. I got NASCAR Heat 2004. And it was like, I played them a little bit. But it's like, right away, I was like, "What's the point?" It's. Get ready now. Going green. I don't care about, like an arcade-ish type feel. Green flag. Although it's funny is, how would I know what the real physics of of a NASCAR car would be? I've never been in one, but I'll take Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s word for it. here. I just kind of want to feather the throttle a little bit. It's the Hooters car. It's funny, it's like, I know it's only a game, but does anybody else get like white knuckle driving when they're in these big crowds like this? I do. The only time I ever could relax in this game is if I managed to get the lead and I didn't have to worry about, all I had to worry about was driving the best line. And like I said, for a game that's damn near 20 years old, I still think it looks pretty phenomenal. Get out of my way, monkey. Ugh. I remember I used to race in an online league, back in 2000, probably from 2000 on for a couple years, and it was so much fun. Like, especially if you got people who were kind of serious about it, weren't all into demolition derby, and you just tried to be serious about it. I mean, I used to spend an hour a day at least during the week testing, more testing, driving, getting used to the track, what was coming up for that week. I used to take it pretty serious. I wasn't that great a driver. I can't remember, I don't remember winning a lot. But it was fun. That's all that really matters, though, right? They have different car sets you can download, and all kinds of mods for this game. Now, this game is abandonware, and so that means you go to the right places on the net, you can get this game for free. There are mods for pretty much every kind of driving you can want. IROC, different car sets. I mean, the amount of free content available for this game is amazing. Now, the crew that made this game, they went on to make iRacing, and iRacing is based off this source code. Now, I like the idea of iRacing, but I'm sorry, I'm not paying $15 a month to play their game, especially when they can't guarantee that there aren't people cheating, and there are. There was a guy out there basically selling a cheat program that you run your side, client side, and guys could pit in 0 seconds. And I was watching a video where they had a guy accelerating his car from 0 to 300 kilometers an hour in just a couple seconds. And so the guy talked about he'd been selling these programs for like 3 years, sold them to many of the top teams, top players. So, and iRacing, number one, they're covering up. They won't admit that it's a problem. Because then if they did, they'd have to tell the majority, their subscriber base, hey, people are on here cheating and there's really nothing we can do about it. So they're not banning anybody. So, you know what? Screw that. Just not going to do it. But I think I am going to download like the 2000 car set for this game. To me, that was like, the absolute golden era of NASCAR. Come on, dude. That will put Dale Earnhardt back in the game. All those guys. I'll be honest. I haven't watched NASCAR in 10 or 15 years either. I used to watch it all the time, but these are all the guys that I remember. It's like when you could identify everybody by their car. I mean, there's Bobby Labonte. Ugh. There's Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Bill Elliott right there. I think that's Mark Martin in his Viagra car. Oh, no, that's Rusty Wallace, I think. In the Miller car. I have to get closer. Yeah, that's Rusty Wallace. Ugh. Yeah, give it up. Oh, give it up, Bobby. There's Dale Jr. Kurt Busch. Or Kyle Busch. One of the Bushes. It's Elliott Sadler in the M&M's car. That's one of my favorite cars back in the day. Just paint job wise. There's Kevin Harvick. Give it up, 21. Telling you, having a steering wheel, especially a force feedback steering wheel, makes these games so much better, but also like easier. It's like when I can feel the car getting loose in the wheel before it's too late. Tony Stewart. There's Mr. Gordon. Ryan Newman and Jimmy Johnson at the lead. Shocker. I'm gonna have to give that up, Jimmy. What are you talking about, spotter? I'm in first. So yeah, now here's the time where I could finally lighten my grip on the steering wheel a little bit. When you're out front, you just gotta concentrate on trying to run the best line you can. And some people probably say, oh, you're a candy ass for running the line, yeah, best line indicator, but you know, if I keep playing this game, get back into it, I'll turn it off. But like I said, I mean, this is the first time I've played it in damn near 20 years. I don't even have any custom setups or anything. I'd love to know the frame rate I'm getting. So whatever it is silky, silky smooth. I mean, it ought to be. Damn near 20-year-old game. Gee, I remember, like the very, first of these series, like NASCAR Racing 95, or back before they even had 3D acceleration for graphics, and you used to have like, it could only draw 6 or 8 cars in front of you, 2 or 3 behind you, just to keep acceptable frame rates. She wants to climb the track in those turns. Just 2 to go, 47.402. Remind myself, don't look in the mirror. And one of the earlier versions of the game, like NASCAR 96, 97, or 98, whatever. This was pre-internet days. I had a buddy of mine, and we used to dial in via modem and race against each other, just one-on-one. And I remember I had a Microsoft Sidewinder force feedback joystick that I used to play this game, and he had a racing wheel, and He had all this high-tech stuff that whenever I was behind him, it's like he couldn't take the pressure. It made him so nervous, and he would always, wipe out. I swear I never touched him, but he would lose it in the corner or whatever, wind up riding up there, riding up the track and hitting the wall, doing whatever. And I beat him every time, and like I said, he couldn't take the pressure of me being behind him. It was so funny. Is that it?
You won! You did an awesome job out there, buddy.
Can't believe it. Apparently, my crew chief didn't believe it either. Could hear the incredulity in his voice. You won! Oh, really? Now some... Dude. Oh, great way to celebrate a win. Go back and check out this replay. Yeah, because I believe I was able to win that race without wiping anybody out or any unnecessary, really rough content. Which, like I said, after darn near 20-year layoff, I think that's pretty impressive. Now, it's funny, as I did load up NASCAR Heat earlier today after I ran a few test laps, and it's just to see the difference. And yeah, I mean, it's obvious from an eye candy standpoint how much difference there is. And there should be. It's damn near a 20-year gap, or 15-year gap between the games. But driving the cars, there's absolutely no comparison in the feel and how they drive. I mean, I had to wrestle my steering wheel the entire race, trying to get this thing around those turns, keeping it straight. NASCAR Heat, it was, pretty much anywhere I want it to go, it'll go. I picked that car just because I loved the Dodge Intrepid back in the day. And I remember when Dodge came back to NASCAR, it was a huge event, huge thing back in the day. So much publicity and all that. I'd certainly rather drive a Dodge than push a Ford around a racetrack. Although, I mean, I got to give credit to Ford. They push better than any other race car out there. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't get the engine started most of the time. You got to push your car, but it pushes real nice. It's got a heated spoiler in the back to keep your hands warm in cold weather. So for a darn near 20-year-old game, man, does it still look beautiful in my opinion. Also, I mean, when I watch this on replay, I mean, this looks like what you see on TV. Which I love how this game had a paint shop. Yeah, you could go in and paint your cars. I mean, I don't even think, I don't think NASCAR Heat 4 or 5 had a paint shop. Yeah, I know NASCAR Ignition does. But like, in the view of, that I was using, I still had a rear view mirror. NASCAR Ignition doesn't have a rear view mirror in anything other than the cockpit view. And it's just, I'm like, it almost seems like the developers have never played, any simulation racing games. And, and it's like all they know how to do is just program eye candy. They don't know how to make a quality, physics-based game. I mean, there's no custom setups in NASCAR Ignition. It's, you basically have, settings of loose to tight. There's a couple notches in between. How can you call that sim racing when you can't, mess with all the settings in your car? Now that may come, but yeah, they talk about there's a massive first day patch. But I mean, it's insane. I'm not paying $60. They even have a version out there that's $90. For all the extra bells and whistles, whatever. But I'm not paying $60 to take part in an alpha test. The Virginia Tech Hokie car. Wonder who was driving that back in the day. So how do y'all rate my driving performance in this race? Leave your comments below. I mean, let's be real. The only reason why I did so well is, like I said, it was set to 87% strength. If I bumped it up to 100, I would have been DFL and bring it up to rear. The pack would have just walked away from me. Yeah, I loved Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott's number 9 Dodge. I thought that was just a cool paint job. who 49 was. But boy, he was irritating the you know what out of me. I don't know what he was doing so far up, but man, he was slow. You can tell I hate racing high. I was more comfortable. Yeah, you almost never see me take the high, the high line. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell Zorion is. If it's even a real thing. I just took that car because number one, I didn't want to take one of a actual NASCAR driver, and that was the only Dodge paint scheme that didn't look like butt cheeks. When I was setting up for this, I went into the advanced control settings and moved the linear setting because I'm using a wheel all the way over. And I did, excuse me, I did add some steering assistance, but the big difference I noticed is I always seem to remember back in the day when you'd be in these big packs like that, man, my car would swing all over the track, up and down, up and down. It was really impossible to control. But with the setting it to 100% linear, it really felt like it gave me really precision control over the car. And then, she will pull high in some of the turns, where I'm trying to keep that tight line down low. And she rides up the track. I think they call that, she's tight. But being, in close proximity to other cars, I wasn't, bouncing about and getting pulled and sucked all these different directions. Certainly made the driving experience a lot better. U.S. Army car. I remember back in the day, I had painted a 25th Infantry Division car. That was the unit I served at in the Army. So I had the big Tropic Lightning symbol on the hood. On the back, in between the taillights, I had my EIB, my Expert Infantry badge. On the sides, I had my airborne wings, my air assault wings. The car had a camouflage sort of paint scheme to it. Somewhere in there I had like 322s. I was in the 3rd Battalion, 22nd Infantry. So I was totally marking out for my military days. I think this time I'm either going to search for it or I'll paint it myself. I want to try to find paint a U.S. Navy car, but it'll be battleship themed around the USS Iowa. That was the battleship I served on. I have to look to see if there's a car number 61, which that's the hull number for the Iowa. If there isn't a 61, it'd be fun to, that would be my car number 61. Import some, love to import like a picture of the turret fire in there on the hood, you know, a big flame shooting out of it. I always wonder if the weight of the driver made any difference in how the car handled, or you know, even its top speed. Because yeah, I remember Tony Stewart when he was young and he was real thin. Yeah, and then for a while, you know, he needed three guys, you know, in a tube of grease to get him in the car. It was like, you know, I wonder if his car was slower, having to slub all that extra weight around. Or yeah, these cars have so much power it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think in my next race that I'll do, I'll have to maybe bump it up to 90. I mean, 87 is pretty competitive. I'm not, you know, I'm not certainly not walking away from them. And they're right there. They just can't seem to pass me. Look at the Hooters car, number 11. Shit, at one point, he was DFL. He's made his way up. It's just funny, like when I was watching the videos for, you know, NASCAR Ignition 21, they were showing all the drivers, and it's like, wow, I think I only knew 5 or 6. It's like, you know, all of, you know, I have no idea who any of these guys are in the sport nowadays. Yeah, with Dale, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, you know, Rusty Wallace, all those guys gone. I don't know. I just really didn't. Yeah, there's nobody to follow anymore. Yeah, I'm surprised is yeah, I know it's only 20 laps, but I'm surprised that Greg Biffle didn't cause an accident. Surely he would have run into somebody from behind and biffled them. Yeah, Greg Biffle, he was famous for, like I said, running into the back of people. Me and my brother-in-law play this game. Yeah, if I ever bumped him from behind or whatever, he'd be, oh, I got biffled. Tony was making a run at me there. Yeah, I think the race was over there. And that was the end. So I think I let off the gas here. And that's when everybody comes up, freaking rear ends me. Yeah, I love that little touch of the camera going out. Yeah, just boom, I get hit and rolled. Hey, but at least they had the nicety to hit and roll me back over. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, this little race. I mean, I still think NASCAR 2003, I still think it's the best racing game out there. And it's not even close. Sure, it doesn't have all the eye candy of some of the latest games, but like I said, give me realism over eye candy any day. Please leave your comments below, and if you would, like and subscribe. Until next time, everybody have a wonderful evening.